Hanson are sitting around, hopefully not having a tantrum, somewhere in Brisbane. Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Taylor, Zach, Isaac, welcome. Congratulations. Congratulations on Anthem and that track in particular, Get the Girl Back's great.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, we're really happy with how that turned out. And you mentioned our friend Michael Fitzpatrick from Fitz and the Tantrums, as well as actually their bass player Joe Carnes also played on that track. Great guys, very talented, and a lot of fun working with them.
And you got Bones Malone as well on the album?
Yes, we do. Bones Malone from Blues Brothers fame. He was the trombone player and also horn arranger for the Blues Brothers band, also as well as the movie and the SNL and all that kind of stuff. And he plays on the Late Show with David Letterman in the States. And he's actually a phenomenal human being.
Yeah, I mean, you can listen to that record. I mean, really, all the way back to our first records. Old school rock and roll and soul music is really what got us into making records. So
yeah, I was going to say that sort of 60s pop and soul you guys have always liked.
We have,
yeah. It's kind of the bar that we use whenever we're in the studio. Okay, are we in some way reaching at least towards this level of perfection?
We have sayings like, "What would Bill do? What would Bill Withers do?" Or what
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then every once in a while somebody says, "What would Neil Diamond do?"
Yeah,
that's not really soul, but it's worthy of note.
Yeah, exactly. What would Bill Withers do? Seriously, I'd be looking at myself going, I don't know. Sing good, I guess. I don't know.
Write songs that are the last for 40 years.
Yeah, that's right. And not chatty.
Yes. Sing them, write the most songs that are sung in bathrooms, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
when you're really nailing it.
Exactly.
Actually, it would be a very good song for your subject matter earlier. Your kids having tantrums.
Yes.
Oh yeah. You must know about that. What's when I was saying tantrums? What popped into your head?
Yeah. This is Zach. My kids don't tend to throw tantrums in that way, but they do have really funny clips that come back at you. My son the other day wanted to download a video game on an iPad, and I said, "Son, you can't do that." And he said, "When you're dead, I'm going to download all the games I want."
I like the way when you said it, Zach.
It's pretty dark.
He said it in the creepy voice.
Oh, no, and he did.
Yeah. My son, I walked in once, my son was watching Clint Eastwood, and I like to think this impression was inspired by watching Clint Eastwood. Had his feet up on the couch and he's watching. I came in going, "Have you done the shopping?" And then put away that. And he just muted the TV and looked at me and squinted and said, "What are you yelling about now, old man?" I was like, "What?" I don't think I was yelling.
Wow. These are some very spirited kids.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing, isn't it, Zach? You raise your kids to be strong-minded, independent people, and the little brats just talk back at you and have their own ideas.
You got to get them to fall in line.
Yeah,
that is
independently.
That is great.
Yeah.
Independently fall in line, exactly. Yeah, I mean, rearing kids, we all do have children, and so it is both, as they eloquently say, true that it is the hardest work and the most
important work
you'll ever do.
I'm glad you didn't say rewarding, because the reward hasn't happened for me yet.
Well, we don't know that it will. Honestly, the little monsters may never acknowledge that they owe everything to you, and you've got to do it without that. It's like letting someone into traffic, and they may not wave to you through the window. You're just letting them in because it's the right thing to do.
Exactly.
Same with kids, I think.
These are great analogies.
Thank you. It's what I do. Isaac, Taylor, and Zach are who you're chatting to. They're the three brothers who are the band Hanson. Formerly Hanson Brothers, and then they got an extra one, so it just became Hanson. Great. One of the things that's nice to talk to you and hear good music that you've created is it's not necessarily an easy road for Hanson. Mbop was an enormous hit. But the fact that you're both in a room and enjoying each other's company years later is a testament, I think, to your relationship. It would have been easy, and there must have been so many stresses on you guys over the years.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there have been stresses on us over the years, but I mean, the truth is that the love of the music that we make together and the love of harmony, both literally and musically, and figuratively and all that kind of stuff, I think is some of the driving force. I mean, it's one of these weird things where when despite, I mean, we've had multiple shows I can think of where you're backstage, you're really frustrated, things are not going the way you want them to as far as within the band kind of communication, you're frustrated about something. You go out on stage, you play a show, and afterwards you're like, yeah, that was great.
Okay, it comes together.
It kind of comes together.
The other thing, too, is we really, pretty early on, realized that the business around us was changing, and we sort of had to take things into our own hands. And so I think in some ways, running our own label now for over the last, we put out more albums now as a kind of major indie, if whatever you call it.
Well, and if you count all the fan club stuff and other things,
a lot
like
of
that's
songs,
way more.
So having kind of our hands on that and really steering the ship, is part of what allows us to focus on music and kind of
but
survive.
I thought even that the reason you're doing that is your record label got subsumed, and you were a part of that, and then you went to another record label, and didn't work, and for a lot of bands that would have been it. One of the things I like about Hanson is you guys were able to, maybe because you were together or something, I don't know. I'm not the fourth member of the band, but you were able to hang tough and go, okay, everything's gone bad. The tour money's been pulled. We're going to have to fund it ourselves. This is around 2000 or something. So 14 years later, here you are touring, doing gigs, selling your albums. But you went out and you organised to do it yourselves. You thought, right, we're going to learn from that experience. We're going to be an independent band,
That's right.
I think somewhere deep down our immigrant farmer ancestors are just in there with us, kind of stubborn and we
it's
really,
hard, but we're going to keep working.
And I love them having that accent while you break into a mbop. Do that song again where you're bopping and you're not sure. Bop? I don't know. Do that.
They would have been Danish, so I don't think they would have sounded like that.
Sure. That's what no, that's the Swedish chef. That's
but it's kind of close. It's as close as I can get right.
I think in so many ways probably being brothers gets a lot of credit for us sticking with it, and that's true. If only for the fact that so much of your raising is the same, and so the work ethic and the sort of references for life and what you're supposed to act like are the same, so you're able to stick it together. But I think the other thing is also it's probably just our pride. We really love what we do and are really proud of what we do, and seeing that not be handled correctly. You were talking about label situations, so when we were moved to a rap label years ago, and we said, well, this isn't going to work. And they're going to screw this up because they're a rap label. They don't know what we do.
They screwed it up and it wasn't right.
Zach, that's strange.
We're a rock and roll band. So, we I think we just feel like this sort of sense that we really want to take things on and see it perfected as best as we can.
And there's something about you guys that resonates. It would have been easy for Mbop to be something that's a note in history and under the heading of one hit and whatever happened to. But for some reason, there's something about Hanson that keeps fans current and active. And you mentioned earlier, the fans have done releases of stuff. Yeah, because they're weirdly obsessed. And they still celebrate May 6th. That was a one-off thing. Hanson Day, Universal. Get behind it. And folks still do. And I find that really interesting. What do you put down the longevity of the band to?
Sure.
Why isn't it just a footnote? And why have you sold so much?
Nobody can claim to know that exactly. But I think the part that we hope has played into that is we've always held, the ability to have success very lightly and never thought of it as being something that we could possess. And we've really tried to focus on cultivating where we felt like we were strongest. And again, you really don't know. I mean, there's a mystery to that to some degree, but the determination and part of the way we structure our whole business is to really focus on that connection with the core fan. And the other thing, if you step back from Hanson and look at the music business over the last 15 years, one of the things is because we connected with people through the web very early. And at the time, I remember our first record, Hanson's website at the time of our first big record was the #2 music website on the web because we had such a connection. We were sort of like pre-social media. Their website was, like Justin Bieber having all these followers on social media. So we were able to connect with fans, and regardless of the change in the labels and all those things, we knew where our fans were and we could talk to them. And so that is actually a huge part of what's allowed us to not necessarily have it right every time, but to stay connected.
Oh, there's certainly a connection there. All sorts of stuff. I'm getting tweeted as we speak from people listening in Argentina. who are fans of Hanson and the band. Like, they're tweeting me going, I'm loving this, I'm in Argentina.
Yeah. Well,
They say it with a little bit more fire than that.
yeah, exactly. I don't know.
Argentina.
We like to say fuego.
Argentina.
Yeah.
Yes.
Saturday, August 9th at the Palais Theatre. That's here, of course. Palais Theatre is the Saturday. Sunday at the Hi-Fi Bar, which will be a gig that will go off as well. That's on the Sunday, August 10th.
Yeah.
The new album is Anthem. Will you guys be doing signings? Have you got merchandise? Are there things?
There are things for people to get. Yeah, of
Is
course.
there
But most
beer?
no, there is not the Hops beer, which we actually very lovingly have just released as of last year. That is actually going very well in the U.S., but unfortunately we're not able to import it.
What the
as
hell?
of yet.
Did no microbrewery say hops?
We're working on it,
sells
actually.
itself.
Yes.
What the?
Well, I'll tell you what sells itself actually is I personally believe it is a phenomenal beer, and luckily we've had a few people agree with us. We got a gold medal actually as of a few months ago, and so we're just really happy with most. You can't ever do something you're not passionate about, and you were talking earlier about our relationship with our fans and what is it that matters, and I think ultimately what it all boils down to, whether or not it's beer or whether or not it's music, is we do stuff that we are first and foremost passionate about and care about and put the quality of that above everything else.
Well, I think you've got to, right? Because you guys have been on the journey for so long. You understand that it might succeed or it might fail. Either way, you better be loving it, because otherwise you're stuck with something you hate that failed. And that feels awful.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
So you may as well love the thing.